I found 3 videos. They're kind of older videos of 3 legendary filmmakers, 3 iconic filmmakers giving advice to beginners getting into film. And I think, honestly, this is really good advice for experienced filmmakers. There might be something in here that you can glean. So let's first jump into the first one. It's actually with George Lucas.
What advice do you think you can give to a young person who wants to be a filmmaker or a writer?
Well, I would say you have to be persistent, first of all, because it's a very hard thing to get into. And it's very hard to make it because the odds are against you. So you have to you have to really love it. Kids that get into it because they think they're going to make a lot of money or they're going to become famous or tell a lot of people what to do all the time, it's probably best to get into a different business because they'll never make it. But if you're obsessed with film and you love to tell stories and you love working in that medium, then that'll give you the strength to be persistent to make it happen.
It's very hard, and he's not wrong, because everything's working against you. And then another major area he mentioned is it's not about authority. It's not about money. It's not about telling people what to do. It's not about reputation. It's not about fame. It is only love for the craft. It is only going to work if you truly love it. And I think that's super valuable. If you love the process of filmmaking, if you love seeing images come to life with lighting and actors' performance, if you love seeing a story on a page that's a jumbled mess and kind of incomplete, and then through the process of filming it and capturing audio and editing it together, and you have a little piece of work, if you just love it, then that can be enough to pull you through. But if you don't love it, if you're in it for any other reasons except you really enjoy that, then you should do something else. And I think that really leads well into what James Cameron had to say about a lesson he learned of spending years in the film industry doing something wrong and then turning over a new leaf and doing something different, which ultimately allowed him to learn how to enjoy the process of filmmaking. So listen to his advice here.
I've had to retool my perception of the work. When I first started, let's say when I was making Terminator, some of my early films, I was sacrificing everything, in a kind of scorched earth mentality to get to an end goal in the distant future of a finished film that hopefully would be accepted by an audience. And the day-to-day was hell for me. And I kind of made it hell for my crew, right? I'll fully admit that now, 20, 30 years later. The epiphany for me was when I realized I get to do this cool job. I get to work in the magic factory. I get to work with really cool people in a creative process. So I literally trained myself to love the work of the day, to enjoy the process. And I think that's a critical thing for leadership as well. It's not all about that end goal. It's about the day-to-day. And when you think about, well, how do I make my day-to-day better? Well, I'm kinder to people. I talk to them more. I see what they're dealing with. Are they enjoying the work, or is there something going on with them? Or maybe there's something going on with them in their personal life. Sort of not my business, but it is my business because no one exists in a vacuum. No one works in a vacuum. And I want people to bring their best game every day. So it teaches you empathy, it teaches you to look into the eyes of the people working with you and see what's on their minds. It teaches you to listen to them and incorporate their ideas into what you're trying to do.
So he's really getting at this idea that the day-to-day is the work. He said his life was literal hell for himself and everybody when the only pursuit in the process of filmmaking was the finished product, was the end result. And he's saying that everything becomes more enjoyable and you actually learn to love the creative process in a new way that actually flourishes you and your inspiration into what I think filmmakers are, but you don't really have that defined. Like when filmmakers say they love the process, they love what they do, they love the creative process. Beginning filmmakers, even some experienced filmmakers, don't really know how to define that. I think James Cameron nailed it. I think it's in the day-to-day. It's in the moments of we're heading towards a goal, but we're going to get there eventually. Let's enjoy right where we're at. There's a day that we're going to shoot 5 shots because the shots are kind of difficult to get, right? It's a very big visual scene, and all we have to do today is get these 5 shots and get them looking good. And if the plan goes well, we're going to end the day with 5 awesome shots. And you can really flesh out and enjoy that day when all you have to show for it at the end of the day is just a little bit of work, just a little couple cool shots. But there's gonna be so many memories, so much rapport built in with the people around you, the other creatives. And like he says, it really builds relationships. And so there's one more video I want to talk through with Chris Nolan, where it's actually a practical way on how to build relationships, how to enjoy the day-to-day with other creative people, how he goes about it in a very specific way. And so let's listen to what he has to say, because I think this is gonna really round out this concept of enjoying the filmmaking process for you.
I recommend it to any young filmmaker starting out. It's just try everything. Try recording sound, try shooting, try lighting, try a bit of everything, except maybe acting. And there's an interesting relationship as a director between yourself and the people who work for you on set, which is they're looking to you for leadership and guidance. And I think they also want to feel like you care about their job. And I think one of the ways of showing somebody that you care about their job, is to know about it and be able to engage in a conversation with the sound department about microphones and which microphones they're using and things like that.
So Christopher Nolan's advice is try everything. It's actually a really simple concept. And I think beginning filmmakers are doing this naturally, especially when they're on someone else's production, right? And it's an indie project, or they're getting paid from a studio or just a production company to do commercial work. And they're just kind of having to do multiple jobs inside of that production. That's all very valuable. But I think a lot of times indie filmmakers want to just skip ahead and just want to be at that status, right? Going back to what George Lucas said, people crave that status to be at the top and working on the highest end productions and films in the world or in the country. But what these men who fully succeeded at their craft, right? They are the top tier, iconic filmmakers of our day, and for like George Lucas, our parents' generation as well. They're saying that their love for the work is in the day-to-day. It's in the conversations with the people who are recording sound. It's learning a new thing to be able to talk about and engage with and learn about other creatives and their work. It's the day-to-day process. It's the love and the care for the people that you're going to be working with on set. And so although when we think of filmmaking, we're thinking of a bunch of people saying action and check the take or whatever, and screaming at each other or setting up lights and getting the camera set up just right, having someone hold the boom pole, seeing actors perform, and then stopping when someone yells cut. Like all of the things we imagine filmmaking is like or have experienced, these guys who have done so much film, who have been in so much production and have made so many incredible films that have changed the course of history for entertainment. They're saying it's in the day-to-day. It's in the love and the care and the enjoyment of the people you're working with that day. Like that is the best advice. Some of the best advice they are giving to beginning filmmakers. It's love for the craft. It's love for the day-to-day. It's loved for the skills and the people you're working next to so that you can lead well and that the people around you feel cared for. That's a big part of the process. And I thought it was super insightful to see these 3 gentlemen, these three legends of filmmaking, explain it in such simple terms to reach kind of like the mountaintop, to look around and then share with us advice that we're like currently in. If you work in production or make indie films, like you're currently in where they're saying they're the best part is, you're in it, and you just tend to not think you're in it because you're always looking for the biggest thing you can reach up for, the next big thing, right? So slow down. Live in the day-to-day, enjoy the process, be creative, and know that like the best days of filmmaking is right now. It's what you're doing right now. And if you're not on production, but you aspire to be, and you always thought it would be cool to be, to see if you really love the craft and really love the process, go on Facebook or find a friend who is into filmmaking. Try to find a local independent film that's happening, or just find someone who makes films in your area and get to know them as a friend and say, hey, I just want to hang out with you. I want to see if I like this filmmaking thing, this production thing, this camera operation thing, right? You never know what you'll run into if you just, step out and try to enjoy the process. That's all I have for you today. I hope this is insightful. If you enjoyed videos like this, subscribe to the channel. We talk about filmmaking, the future of filmmaking, and we take videos and find stuff that we can learn and glean from. I hope that's your thing. If it is, stick around, like this video, and I'll see you next time.